You've got to see my body. Excuse me.
How are you?
I'm very, very good, thank you.
Excellent. Just back from New York.
Yes.
Must have been spooky over there, is it, at present?
Yes, it was. I got there 2 days after the disaster. I think I was in a private plane that had gone in for a diplomat, and I got a lift. And I think it was just about only the medical planes and medical supplies and diplomats were in the air that day. And it was just so eerie to be up there, and people on the radio telephone saying, say, Romeo, Juliet, is anyone out there? I heard someone say that from another aircraft, and there was just nobody.
It must spread over the entire city, in a sense. I mean, it must affect your behaviour as well, being there. I mean,
I mean, as everything, it has two sides to it. I mean, I got out the plane, and the security everywhere was a war zone, and I was outside New York. They made us land miles outside New York, and I said, can I get my bags around the car? They said the car is not allowed in, so they put me in this golf cart. And one of the technicians there, blew the tires up on the plane or something. He came and drove me on this golf cart round towards where the car park was, which we were 20 minutes later. We were still looking for the car park, and I arrived there, and there were about 25 state troopers, all pointing submachine guns at what I realised was my driver, and he had his hands above his head. This is in New York. He had his hands above his head with my name on a piece of paper between it, and he was shaking. I said, oh, he said, what are you doing? He put this machine gun in the window. I said, I think that's my driver. So I said, are you my driver? He said, yes, sir, I am Ahmed. I thought, that was, see, and he was the only driver that had been, I mean, the only one who had the courage to come out of New York, I think, because it was a car. It had to be a 50s Chevy, and he kept changing gear to go up hills and things. It was the oldest car in New York, so I had really a royal welcome. But when you got in there was no one to be seen.
No,
you had to zigzag
yeah.
through the streets because there were concrete blocks at every corner. There were armed guards everywhere, and about 4 people in the hotel.
Yes. You're over there to talk about this new musical you're doing. Now, the last time you were on this show, you told me you would never, ever, under any circumstances, do another musical.
But I get a kick out of lying to you.
You do, yeah. What changed your mind?
I don't know. This music intrigued me. It's written by Jim Steinman, who did all the Meatloaf stuff, and I mean, he must have looked at me and he looked at me and thought, corned beef. So I just think that's a joke. Yeah. Because usually you laugh at a lot of things people say. But anyway, so
I was laughing inwardly.
Yes, yeah. So it's just a challenge. The music is a challenge, and it's called Dance of the Vampires, and it is a sort of dark character. So it has the intrigue for me of Phantom, the darkness there, but it has the character is outrageous. He's very flamboyant, and they've rewritten it.
So very different from what you played before.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It has an added dimension because they sort of take you. I'm taken very seriously in New York because they never knew I used to play comedy. See, I used to play a lot of comedy.
I know you did.
I did, yes.
I know you did.
Yes.
And then Frank Spencer means nothing in New York.
No,
No.
It's a very serious image that's from Phantom.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, little do they know that it's like the opening night of Phantom in New York. We had enough happen here on the opening night with the boat sort of ending up in Putney and coming back again. but in New York, there's the end of the show where Sarah Brightman came towards me, and I'm standing, and the mask has been brought off me, and he's sort of revealed and she comes towards me, and she grabs me and kisses me. I won't get any closer than this, but it would be good. But she pulls me towards me and she kisses me, and I pull away, and I'm, it's Broken Man, and I love playing Broken Men. And as she pulls away, I see that she's got my bottom lip on her mouth. and she's going like this, and I thought, I go, you can't. And of course, the audience go, he's wonderful, isn't he? So I'm a cross between a hunchback and Frank Spencer, and there's, I'm only supposed to kiss her once, and I thought I'll kiss her twice. I mean, Andrew had warned me not to, so I pulled her onto me. She didn't know what the heck I was doing, because she didn't know she had this lip, another lip. So I pull her towards me and I put my hand out. I said, you got my lip. And I had to do it like, you got my lip, because the mic was still on. And she said, what? She thought I'm trying to put her off on her opening night. So I stuck the lip back on, I went, and it's flapping. So I said, give me another one. So I kissed her. Now it's like a snog. I'm going on, I can't get rid of it. And I put the thing, I've got it in my mouth, and the lip. So I stick it in the side of my, in the side of my mouth, and I carried on. To the end of the show, I only had one. I just had the top lip. It looked very big. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
He's always wonderful, isn't he?
Yes.
Truly magnificent. Yeah. Yeah. What was that the worst musical disaster you ever had on stage?
Pretty much. Oh, well, I did, when I went to Las Vegas, I had, that was quite fun. One night,
what were you doing there?
I was doing a show called Effects, and he played about 5 different characters,
right.
and one of the characters was called Houdini, and he was, of course, dead. This was a dead Houdini. He was no longer. Yes. And he came back in this scene to his wife to sing a love song to her, to say, I'm never far away from you. And so the way we did it was an illusion, obviously. And I sat on this device, which was a saddle, and I had my feet perched on something, and they strapped me in. So you were absolutely the only thing, you could move your arms just like that, because it was very precarious. I sat on this, 2 dressers, one put the shirt on, did it up with Velcro, the other put the trousers on, I Velcroed those, and up in the air I go, and I appear through the curtain and start to lower down, saying, no, Bess, I'm back. And she's going like this, and it was much the same look that Sarah had at the end of Phantom. I worked with a lot of women that looked like that after about a month. So I start to lower down, and the number 2 dresser, unfortunately, has not done the trousers up correctly. So they start to go down. And as I descend from heaven, so do the trousers. And I'm left, and I can't move. My hands are there, so you can't cross your knees or protect anything. The trousers end up down here. I've got a flesh-coloured dance belt on, and I didn't realise, of course, I'm sitting on a big black saddle, which sticks out about 3 inches from my groin. Now, I know you're metric over here. In metric, it's big. Okay? So I'm sitting on this thing with this great big black thing between my legs, and I'm set. Now, I swear, and the audience is full of Asian, they're all Chinese. It's a big convention from China in. And, they do a lot of that. Oh! And, it's like, Crawford. That's what we're doing. That was a lot. Please don't be offended if you're Chinese. That's the way you talk. Now, but they do. So I lower down, and I'm still singing. I'm singing because there's a track going on. I can't stop. It's and these, I swear, are the words I'm singing. Don't be afraid, don't be surprised. Right? This. I know with me you never could believe your eyes. And the wife never knew what I was what was going on, what they were laughing at. But I got to tell you, I'm very big in Beijing now.
Oh, that's wonderful. But you said they have a different perception of you in America. Well, no, they did have them before Las Vegas, of course, I would imagine, yeah. It's interesting about you, of course, because you've got this Frank Spencer image over here and all that sort of slightly sort of gormless and daffy and all that sort of thing. And yet, basically, I mean, what you are, you've been on the board since you were 13, I mean, and you're very much a perfectionist, aren't you? I mean, you work very, very hard at what you do.
Yes.
Well, no, it's just that it runs kind of counter to the sort of general image people have. People think you just sort of come on and do it, you know, but in fact you're ultra-perfectionist, aren't you? You nag and natter. And
you have this put forward to you all your life that you're a perfectionist, and it's sort of spat out. You really want to do well. Anyone who wants to run for his country has got to do well. Anyone that wants to be funny as her old man has got to work very hard at it. And to have the success that Cilla's had, it's no easy ride. You have to work long hours and do things. And I think I had a bit of a toughish childhood, and there was a considerable amount of bullying attached to it. And to stop the bullying, used to make people laugh. So that was the only way I could defend myself. And it worked overall. By the time I was 12, 13, it sort of stopped. I mean, teachers didn't like me very much, but at least I didn't get... So I think the determination comes from really wanting to prove to people that I could do something, because you're made to feel kind of worthless if somebody...
Because you had also, too, I mean, you had your mum and your nan were fine, but you had a stepfather who was brutal, too, didn't you?
Yes.
You used to whack your mum and...
Yes.
And you, too.
Yes.
And you're that awful... tragic figure, the kid in the middle of it, trying to stop it.
Yes, I think and if you've got half a brain in your head, when you grow up, you remember those things, and they do never leave you. I still feel uncomfortable on a Sunday afternoon when I think I've got to go to school tomorrow.
Really?
I always had that feeling when I was going back to school. Yeah, I think if someone beats you or does anything really unpleasant over a period of time, it's very hard to leave you. As grief, it diminishes, but you will never ever know, because he was the most wonderful thing in her life, the wonderful person.
Yes.
And as with my grandmother, but it's also the brutal side. And you think of the children, some of the things that children go through today, they're far worse than I ever went through. Far, far worse.
Yes.
And it's wonderful to be able to be this. I love being able to use Frank so that I can use this simple, simplistic character to be able to communicate with children.
And you mean children see it and refer to and relate to it? And
yes, they'll talk.
And
the hardest thing to get children to do is to talk about abuse or about bullying.
But you do counselling in that sense?
Well, I wouldn't say I go so far as to say I was a professional counsellor,
no,
but
you get
I certainly can help communicate between one party and the other.
By using the Frank Spencer character?
Yeah,
really?
They'll talk to you because they're better than you. He's so silly that I feel you're silly. You know, they talk to me as I'm silly, and I'm not.
You must hear some extraordinary stuff.
Yes, you do. That's why I think it's a great thing having child counsellors, peer counsellors, that youngsters at school, because it'll help them to grow up and to be independent, but it also is children will speak to children.
I didn't realise that you used Frank in that way. That's fascinating. He's played a big part in your life, hasn't he, Frank Spencer?
He was a gift from heaven for me, yeah.
It's amazing, and with the general public too, 27 years on, isn't it?
Yes.
Since he first made his debut.
Yes.
And there you are, still on BBC Two.
Yeah.
It's still being run on it. And
it's still there.
there's something very, very beguiling about it, and I think you've just talked about it. It's that wonderful innocence, that childlike innocence that we all look back on and we all lose, sadly.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's wrong to, when we have so much power as we become an adult. It'd be great to use it in the right way. No?
I was just thinking, actually, the two of you here, Cilla and yourself, I mean, you represent, I don't know, about 90 years of show business between you, isn't it?
I guess we do.
We've still got our teeth, though.
Well,
Still got our teeth, haven't we?
I've even got more than my share. But we go back a long way.
I bet you do too.
Dear Gabriel, she's in the audience tonight.
Yes,
Because
my ex-wife. That's why I didn't tell any stories about it tonight.
You still do, but you did then work all hours that God sent you. And we have had, me and Gabrielle, some fabulous parties in your house. And the thing is, you paid for them all, you weren't there.
That's what happens to those men, you see.
Yes.
Absolutely. We end up paying for their fun.
Girls were just such a delight, such a incredible father figure. And I think you pinched the Frank Spencer off your girls, didn't you?
Well,
especially that.
You pinch it off any child. They have many more words in their head than we ever give them credit for. At the age of 2, 3, 4, you know, the old cabbage thing of eating the food, and they look at the cabbage, and all this dialogue, like, you want me to eat that? You really want me to eat that? You expect me to? Do you think I should eat that, Dad? You know, they're going from one to the other. They're playing it off, but they don't have words. They don't have the vocabulary yet. But something goes on in there, and that's what I wanted to use. Yes, I used that as Frank, so that he was always, everything was wonderment. Oh yeah.
It's wonderful.
But actually, if you look back,
no fear, though, do you? I mean, all those. I mean, you never had any
stunts,
all the stunts. You showed absolutely no fear. How did you do that bus thing on the roller skates?
it was tough. But Liz, tell me one boy or one grown man that if he roller skated as a kid wouldn't like to hang on the back of a bus and be pulled down the street.
Actually, I've done that myself.
Yeah.
I've done it myself.
A case comes up next week.
The vibration would have been odd on the tarmac, wouldn't it?
Oh, it was great. So good.
Listen, the other thing too, of course, is that in the 60s, when you were both sort of starting off together, you worked with you worked with many people. The two of you did, but John Lennon, of course, you worked with. I mean, you knew John very well, of course.
Very well, yes.
You worked with him.
Actually, he was very much a man's man, John. Very much more comfortable with men, you know, insulted girls like crazy. Got on with Bobby really, really well. You'd always find him. He wasn't comfortable with women. He was very shy of women. Yeah, very shy.
But you worked with him too, didn't you? You worked with him quite a bit.
Yes, we made a film called How I Won the War together.
That's right.
And so we shared a house with when he was married to Cynthia, lovely Cynthia, and I was married to Gabrielle. We the four of us. And Ringo used to come, and with Maureen and George and Patty. It was such a, I mean, it was mind-blowing, because you grew up you knew them really well. I mean, for me, it was, I still go, I live with John Lennon, you know. And he was sitting writing, Strawberry Fields Strawberry Fields Forever. Oh, I'm not sure. I said, oh, John, I wouldn't mess with that. Really. And I could have said to him, like, Sainsbury's car park forever. But I didn't. And so musical history was, I did have, in my own little way.
But they were very good. I mean, it's all very well sort of sitting here and sort of waxing lyrical about that time. But it was a wonderful time to be around, of course, wasn't it? Because it was a kind of the birth of a different kind of showbiz, wasn't it? Different kind of music, different kind of acting. Yes. Everything changed, didn't it?
When you talk about the boys, John had this film in Cannes, and they hired a yacht, and we were invited down on this yacht. John didn't turn up because he was shy again and embarrassed about his film. The film was called Erection, and so we were kind of quite excited, you know, Ringo and George and Mark Bolan. We all went, Mark Bolan, all on this yacht, except John wasn't there, or either Paul. And we all went to see this film, very excited. And the film Erection came on, John Lennon. And it was like 2.5 hours of builders building a hotel.
What a letdown.
It was a letdown. And you know, we all did, actually. We all mucked in. Like you talked about Strawberry Fields. There was a song called Photograph. They said, we're going to write you a song. It's called Photograph. And we're sitting on the yacht with 3, dining rooms. And they finished the song. We all did a little bit of chipping. And Ringo wouldn't let me have it. And I said, why? He said, it's too bloody good for you. I'm going to do it myself, he said. Also, when we went on this yacht, it was fascinating. Bobby and I arrived later, about 4 days later. And every time you ordered anything, you ordered a glass of wine, came with a plate of chips. Because, they're all far on the crew. Ringo had said, no matter what we order, food-wise he meant, we want chips with everything. So you'd order a Coke and you'd get a plate of chips. You'd have your breakfast, your cornflakes, a plate of chips. And one night we were all standing. Now this is how strange, when you think that the Beatles had everything. This yacht, there was 32 crew, it was absolutely stunning. And there was a party on the next yacht over the road, and we were all standing there. And we were having a great time at this party. And Ringo said to me, oh, I wish we were on that yacht over there. And we just had and I couldn't kind of quite figure that out.
Yeah.
You've got everything here. Why do you want to be with them? They'd all give their right arm to be with you.
Yeah. But they don't see
That's
them.
odd, isn't it? It's like when you see the pop stars of today at 21 with everything. And my worry is where do they go?
Yes, after that.
Do you know what I mean? When they're about 35, you think, gosh, I had it all then. What's there now for me?
Yes.
I think you enjoy success. It's so rich when it comes after a little hard work and
That's
effort,
right.
and the foundation's so much stronger.
And it lasts. That's
Well,
the thing.
touch wood, yes.
Well, there you are. Okay, now, so New York shortly, back on stage again. Another 10-year stint.
Yes. Well, no. No, I'll do it next. I think we start, because of the tragedy, I think we're starting later in the year, about the autumn of next year.
Good.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for being my guest. Hope to see you again shortly.
Thank you.
Michael Crawford, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My thanks to Michael Crawford, to Liza Tarbuck and to Cilla Black. That's the end of our present series, and thanks for watching. We'll see you early in the new year for a new series. In fact, we've got a Parkinson Christmas special before that. In the run-up to Christmas, special guests include Dame Edna Everage, Lenny Henry, Jerry Halliwell and Robbie Williams. Until then, from all of us here, a very good night. Good night.